I woke up in the middle of the night, my nose assaulted by a foul odor that seemed to be emanating from somewhere in the room. I nudged the girl next to me, and she woke up too. We both felt disoriented and confused, shivering in the unseasonably cold air. We decided to investigate, leaving the bedroom to follow the scent that seemed to be growing stronger by the minute. Welcome to the Sus Box. Click that like button and subscribe to our channel to keep an eye on this creepy box. Sit back and let us unbox today's story. It's been so long since I've seen another human being. I've lost count of the years, and the face staring back at me from the mirror is unrecognizable. The passage of time is a strange thing. It seems to have taken its toll on my memory more than anything else. The people I used to know, even my closest friends, have long stopped visiting. Perhaps it's because I've been away from California so long. But I can't help feeling that I'm the one who's truly at fault. Maybe I should have made more of an effort to keep in touch, to hold on to those memories. It's funny how memory works. As we age, our bodies grow weaker and our hair turns gray, but those things never seem to matter to me. It's the memories that really count. The things that we hold on to until the very end. But as I get older, I find that my memory is failing me. Names and faces slip away, and it feels like I'm losing a part of myself. There was a time when I had friends. We were in our 20s, I think, and we were all in college together. We used to travel across the country, searching for strange and unusual things. We had a particular fascination with true crime locations. I remember one afternoon, we went looking for John Wayne Gacy's house. It was a perfectly normal place, with a family living there. But there was something about the place that gave me chills. It was as if there was an evil energy emanating from the ground, like a weed that had taken root and refused to let go. I can't quite remember why, but my friends started taking pictures, and the family chased us away. Looking back, it all seems so long ago, and yet the memory of that day is still so vivid. I wish I could remember my friends' names, or what they looked like, but even though those details have slipped away, the feeling of adventure and excitement still lingers. It's strange, but in some ways, it's almost comforting to know that those memories are still a part of me, even if I can't quite grasp them. I've always had a heightened sensitivity to the world around me. There's a certain energy that permeates everything, and I've always been able to feel it. It's what made me the perfect person to choose our route that summer as we traveled across the United States. I could sense when we were approaching places where terrible things had happened, whether it was a building, a home, a park, or a lake. That summer, we found ourselves in California, and that's where I met her. She had fiery red hair, and I remember thinking she was beautiful, even though I didn't feel the same way about her. I can still hear her voice as she grabbed my hand and said, "We're spending a weekend at the Cecil Hotel." It was one of the few memories from my youth that I can still recall vividly. Even then, I knew the hotel had a certain reputation. It was located in the heart of Skid Row, a neighborhood that had once been a working-class area, but had long since descended into a crime-infested hellhole. The Cecil Hotel had seen its share of glory days, but those were long gone, and I'm sure you, whoever you are, know its history. When I set foot inside the lobby, I could feel a chill run down my spine. My stomach churned, and I could sense that something was off. Even though I couldn't quite place my finger on it at the time, I knew that the energy of the place was tainted. Looking back now, it's easy to see why. The Cecil Hotel was a place of darkness, a place where terrible things happened, and I was about to experience it firsthand. It's hard to say exactly when it all started, but I remember that the second night we spent at the hotel was when things really began to take a turn. I woke up in the middle of the night, my nose assaulted by a foul odor that seemed to be emanating from somewhere in the room. I nudged the girl next to me, and she woke up too. We both felt disoriented and confused, shivering in the unseasonably cold air. We decided to investigate, leaving the bedroom to follow the scent that seemed to be growing stronger by the minute. As we walked down the hallway, the stench became almost unbearable. Our friends were in the room across from ours, and we could hear them stirring in their sleep. But the closer we got to their door, the stronger the smell became. The door wouldn't budge, no matter how hard we tried, so I did the only thing I could think of. I kicked it down. What we found on the other side was something out of a nightmare. The room was in shambles. The beds were twisted and broken, smashed up against the walls. The floor was slick with water, which seemed almost red in the dim light. The smell was overwhelming, like something had died in there and been left to rot for years. It was like stepping into a swamp of decay, and I knew in that moment that something terrible had happened in that room. The moment I laid eyes on our two friends in that room, I knew something was horribly wrong. Their bloated, greenish bodies looked like they had been decomposing underwater for years. They were completely still, and I knew in my gut that they were dead. Panic set in when we realized that the door had been shut from the outside. As the water began to rise, we were trapped in the room with the rotting corpses. The girl beside me screamed and pounded on the door, but it wouldn't budge. The water crept up to our knees, then our waists. The corpses turned their heads and gurgled, black liquid oozing out of their mouths. The girl continued to scream as they lurched towards us. In that moment, I found the strength to move. I ducked just as one of the corpses lunged for me, but the girl wasn't as lucky. The other corpse grabbed her by her hair and dragged her underwater with incredible force. I watched in horror as they held her down, her struggling limbs no match for their dead strength. There was nothing I could do to help her. Silence filled the room as the water started to recede. Once the water disappeared, the corpses returned to their previous position in the center of the room. But this time, the girl stood with them, looking like them, bloated, deformed, and horrible. She appeared as though she had spent the better part of a decade sunken at the bottom of a river. Only moments earlier, she had looked radiant and beautiful. I knew she had loved me, but I had not loved her back. As she looked at me from her spot in the room, I could tell that a small part of her was still there, the part that loved me. It was somehow alive, and perhaps that's why they let me go. In a panic, I fled from the Cecil, abandoning my studies, and managed to grow old. Every anniversary, all three of them would come home and stand outside my door, with their bloated bodies and dead stares. But one day, they didn't come. Now at last I am alone, with only my own decaying mind to keep me company, until the abyss finally claims me. The end. If you enjoyed today's story, let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more sus content. Also, do check out these other videos, where we open more sus stories from the sus box.